Bum, bum. So are you starting?
I don't know. Should we say it's official? Like, all right, it's official. It's here. It's the Nerd and Bird podcast. Finally, the day's come.
You know, why does nerd have to be first? Like, why isn't it bird and nerd? I think that's a
Okay,
little...
it could be Bird and Nerd. Nerd and Bird.
No,
Just sounds
nerd and bird sounds better.
okay. So officially launching our Nerd and Bird podcast.
Yeah.
Our mission is to be able to bring the untold stories to light from marketing experts, mortgage experts.
Just help people with business and life. We're going to help you be better, do better, and also helps us be better. So we thought since we get a lot of questions, whether it's in the DMs or emails asking, would the nerd ever be willing to coach me? Or are you guys ever going to do an event? Or why don't y'all have a podcast yet? Well,
Here we are. It's official.
it's here.
Yeah.
You ask, you shall receive.
It's kind of like keeping up with the Kardashians, right? It's like maybe diving in with
Hold
the
on.
Donahue.
Who would be, let's just go ahead and identify who would be who if we were the Kardashians.
I think I would be Kim.
Oh, do you?
You would definitely be Courtney. She's
What?
a little freaky, and that's like way more your.
She
your
just
side.
became that way. She was kind of like OCD a little bit. But she did have the kids first. Kim has 4.
Yeah.
So on the lines with Nerd and the Bird, I think it's fitting because you were the first one out to shoot. So maybe we should start there of just our journey, kind of one of our untold stories. And then in the future, we're going to be inviting guests in and we'll ask them the real and raw Deb questions to get under the layers of why people are who they are. And then, you know, kind of answer you guys and your questions too. So keep emailing us or DMing us with questions and we'll answer them here on the podcast. But let's start with the nerd being the first one out.
Yeah, I don't even know if people know that we're twins because every so often people are like,
Very true.
I just saw you at the grocery store. Or I saw you at this conference. I'm like, short hair, not me. But yeah, so for people tuning in that maybe don't realize that we are twins
From the same egg.
from the same egg split down the middle and actually delivery table surprise. So,
But I don't think people know what... So there's different types of twins. You have obviously identical fraternal and then mirror image, but delivery table surprise. So there was 2 sonograms back then. I don't want to say it was almost 40 years ago, but there were still sonograms. And with the sonograms, they say that we were perfectly lined up and our heartbeats were in sync. Nothing like in sync. But so they thought the whole time it was just one baby. So one name picked out, one crib, one room. They go all the way to delivery. We'll spare you those details. But basically, Denise came out first, and our mom, who didn't have any drugs or medication, was like, I'm feeling and more contractions. And they're like, oh, that's normal. You know, that's the afterbirth of the placenta, even though she had had another child before. So our older sister is 4 years older. And so basically, 12 long minutes later, I stick my hand out and I'm like, wait for me. Y'all are closing up shop and I'm still in here. So out I came and they said, here's baby A, prepare for baby B, maybe baby C. And
yeah, I think I would have a heart attack if that was me. Like when I
Literally.
was pregnant, I was like, can we make sure we look like in every single, like if I need to do a cartwheel, I'm happy to do so. Let's make
I'm
sure.
sorry. Can we go ahead and reenact that?
But for those of you who didn't know, yes, we are identical twins. I'm Denise, the mortgage nerd. I run a mortgage team and a mortgage business. And Deborah, the Bird, happens to run all my marketing. And so I think probably the most common question I get is, how did you come up with the nerd?
It is. In fact, I have clients that will do discovery calls. So I'm the CEO and founder of Plug and Play SM. We do social media marketing for top originators in the space or upcoming rock stars. And that is probably the most frequently asked question I would get, other than how do I create a presence like Denise? How do I be the nerd? And how do I pick out that tagline or something similar? So why don't you go into kind of that journey of how you created the mortgage nerd and what that means?
Well, I think when people, they're like, are you really a nerd? I'm like, no, yes. Like being a nerd in high school was not cool. But I was the kid that I would show up and I would go to basketball practice, and then I would take like 2 classes because by your senior year, we didn't for some reason have 4. Like once your credits were finished, and all I wanted to do was get off from school and go straight to my brother's business at the time and work for my brother. And I just have always enjoyed working and learning about numbers and finance and I don't know. I guess also growing up poor and learning how, if you don't have money, how much harder that makes things in life. So I really became a nerd to learning about finance and how to make money work smarter and not harder. And so fast forward to graduating college and getting into the mortgage business. The very first company I worked at was called Sente Mortgage. And that is Sente is a tough word to spell. Mortgage, I probably couldn't spell myself when I got into the business. And then Denise Donahue, the full Irish spelling of Donahue is tough. So in 2012 is when I got licensed, and I found my clients like having a hard time remembering my name or, okay, how do you spell that? And well, the last thing you want as a business owner is for someone to have it be difficult to get in touch with you, or, if they were to Google me, would they be able to spell my darn name right? And so I just kind of naturally started telling people, oh, just put me in your phone as the nerd. And they would chuckle, but they would know after meeting with me, okay, this chick means business. She knows her numbers. And it just kind of became a thing where then I started, social media came around and I was like, this is my thing. I am a mortgage nerd. When you come to me in regards to a mortgage, you're going to get way more than just here's your loan estimate and here are some options. It's a true financial strategy. We're looking at what debts do you currently have? Should you buy the rate down, or should you pay off that credit card that has 15%? So when I say I am a nerd, I really am a nerd even to this day. I mean, you can ask anybody that I went to high school with. Deborah would call me a nerd. My husband would call me a nerd to this day. Like I am a nerd, and it just happens to work for me because I'm in finance. So when you're building,
I would say you're a nerd, but you're a risky nerd. Like I remember in college, it was your idea to be like, hey, what if, because this is a frequent question that people ask me, have y'all ever switched classes? And you were the one that came up with a genius idea of like, hey, I'll take your math finals and you take my English finals. And I thought, what a great idea. But it's funny because at the time I was probably more the reserved conservative one, like nervous Nelly. I'm like sweating profusely, like big totally armpit stains. And you're like, what is wrong with you? Like, keep your shit together. And I'm like, I'm cool. I'm totally fine. I'm like about to pass out. But so you're a nerd, but also so relatable and fun, which is not always typical.
I think that like building a personal brand, you just have to be so authentic to who you are, because people will ask like, well, what could I be? Could I be like the lone firefighter or and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're into firefighting or if you're a Batman fanatic and you want to be the lone Batman, like, I don't know, but it can't be fake or forced, or because if you follow me on social, you start to learn that I really am, like when I say I'm a nerd, I really am. Now, we've got to talk about the glasses, because
that's what I was about to say. Can we please tell the untold
set
story?
The record straight?
Yes.
Okay, so the glasses are not real.
So you're a fake nerd.
No, I am not a fake nerd. I'm a true nerd. I just don't actually wear glasses, and there aren't lenses. And I can't tell you how many times I post videos and I get people and they're like, "But do you even have lenses in the glasses? Like, are
why do
even
you not have
real?
the light that's
It's
reflecting?"
like, because it's just like Nike, the check mark is the logo. Well, the glasses is the logo for the brand, but building a brand, building who you are, building something that's memorable, I just would say you have to be completely authentic to who you are, because if you try to fake it, it comes across and it feels forced. And I think people's like BS thermometer is higher than it's ever been.
Yes.
Like people, it's like, okay, it just, I don't know. Compared to like 10 years ago, it's like you can tell when someone's being maybe not as real, or if their social media just feels forced, and we don't relate to those kinds of people. Like if I have a massive zit on my face and I do a video,
you don't.
I know, but I'll be like, okay, like Zach was not invited to this video, but he's here, so let's everybody welcome Zach to this video. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be who you are. So
Well, and to that point, there's this whole marketing shift. And that's really what I want to highlight on this podcast, is just how to navigate the times in a place that's so noisy and used to be so, promotional. It's now more consumer centric than ever, because the consumer has the right to turn you on and off, or to see what they want to see. They can block you, they can restrict you, they can sign up for ad blocking services, which we're seeing more and more of. And it's that whole, paradigm of, we've gone through the internet, and now when social media was able to be on mobile devices, people just don't want to be marketed to. They want to connect, they want education, they want to be inspired. So it is that no BS marketing. And when you're identifying your brand, what I always tell clients is, no one knew that the Apple logo had a big bite taken out of it, and even what that really meant. The difference is, over time, because of the consistency and persistence of what Apple stood for, which is no different than what I tell people with the Mortgage Nerd, you become the brand. Like, you are the brand through what you do consistently, and what those small promises are that then define what the Mortgage Nerd actually means. Because there's a lot of copycats out there, and they're not
well aware. Yep.
I was doing your research on your analytics, and I found another one.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's the beauty too, is, I love that you're so abundant and you share so much of your secret sauces on other webinars that we've done. And you've always had that mindset that you can share and share and share. And there's people that are great students that just won't execute, or everybody has their own flavor or secret sauce at how they deliver even the same information, which was important with you and I, that here we are, identical twins from the same egg, same DNA, same chromosomes, same upbringing, yet we're still so different in a lot of ways. And that's okay. And finding out what that X factor is and who you are is part of the journey. So.
Yeah. So we're excited to bring this podcast to you guys.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
Was that
we're done.
Okay.
We are excited to bring...
That would be the end of this first recording of the podcast. Please stay tuned for more future recordings.
And transition out. Are we done?
Yeah, nothing abrupt about that one.
Do you think it was abrupt?
No, not at all.
You're the talker. Okay, we're going to redo that.
Land the plane.
Okay. So that's what I'm excited for with this podcast. We're going to bring to people how to help be successful, have an abundant mindset, ultimately be happy, help with marketing. And I'm excited about interviewing top-notch experts, but really getting under those untold stories. So stay tuned for episode 1, The Nerd and the Byrd. Send your questions, comments, you name it, to our DMs or to the email, and we will see you next time.
Later.